How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 390. It has been way too long. I'm here to count down my top 10 films of 2011 for you. But first, some honorable mentions for you. 50/50, Another Earth, Attack the Block, Beginners, Bridesmaids, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Melancholia, Midnight in Paris, Moneyball, and Source Code. My number 10 film of 2011 is Certified Copy. Certified Copy is a movie that I think a lot of people haven't heard of, but they should definitely seek out. It is on Netflix Watch instantly right now. It's a film that stars Juliette Binoche, and it's a movie about art, and the statement basically that it makes initially is there's a male, an author, who's writing this book on copies, and Certified Copy is actually the title of his book, and he states, is the copy still as valid as the original? Meaning, just because it's not the original work of art, but it still elicits the same emotional response that somebody would get from it, is that still valid? And the film explores that in a very interesting way. It follows these two people, Juliette Binoche and the other main actor who, forgive me, I don't remember his name, but they go about their day walking through the city, kind of like Before Sunrise-ish, but as it goes on, you start to wonder who these people actually are and what their relationship is with one another. It feels very much like Before Sunrise mixed with an Ingmar Bergman film, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Number 9 is Winnie the Pooh. I know what you're thinking, Winnie the Pooh on Aaron's top 10 list. Yes, because I think Winnie the Pooh is an instant classic. I think it is so magical and so much fun, so funny, so beautifully animated. It has a running time of about 69 minutes, which is perfect. And I honestly think that it is an instant classic that will go down in history as this classic Disney movie, and I don't think a lot of people have seen it, but I think they should. They should seek it out, because it's truly something to sit in the theater and laugh at the same jokes that little kids are laughing at, and not because it's cute, but because it's actually funny and well written. I absolutely love Winnie the Pooh, and I can't wait to show my future children this movie because it's absolutely delightful. Number 8 is Michael Hazanavicius's The Artist. The Artist is a film that came out, and a lot of people thought it was, oh, a silent movie made in 2011, what a gimmick. It is not a gimmick at all. I think the story is beautifully told. It is so superbly acted by the two leads in this film, and their love story and their relationship really comes across, and the way that they tell the story, through it being a silent film, I think adds so much more to everything that's going on. You are so much more interested in everything, and by the end there is a single word on a title card that I won't spoil, but it is, I love it. Number 7 is Meek's Cutoff. Meek's Cutoff is a film that I think will really divide its audience. It is a film that is slow, there's not a lot of dialogue, quote-unquote nothing happens, but for me, that is the reason why it is so fantastic. I think that Kelly Reichardt directs this film just so beautifully. Every single shot, every single moment of this movie is fantastic. The stakes are life and death. She makes watching a wagon roll down a hill and wondering if it's going to make it to the bottom or not. You're on pins and needles the whole time. I think Michelle Williams and Bruce Greenwood are fantastic in the lead roles, especially Bruce Greenwood as Stephen Meek, who's this character who you're not quite sure of, who talks with this kind of muffled, grisly voice the whole time. It is a film that has a very open-ended ending, but I love it, and I think it's one that I thought about a lot. I saw this earlier in the year, but I still think that it is absolutely fantastic, so seek it out. Number 6 is Martha Marcy May Marlene, aka the most difficult title of the year to remember. Martha Marcy May Marlene is haunting, it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's terrifying, it's creepy, and it's all done with such subtlety and grace by writer-director Sean Durkin. The way he tells this story by blending the cult world with her real world, and at every single moment you as the audience member are kind of just as unsure as Martha is as to which world she is currently in. Elizabeth Olsen is fantastic in this movie. It's a film that is a very slow burn, but when it does burn, it totally pays off. I think the ending is probably one of my favorites of the year. So haunting, and it's just this one long take shot of Martha in the back of a car, and it is superb. Number 5 is Miranda July's The Future. The Future, I think, is the one movie on this list that is probably the most personal and the one that I connect to the most, because I really think that it's a film about our generation and our generation's thoughts on relationships and love and connecting with somebody, and the fact that we all think we're dying a lot faster than we actually are, and that time kind of slips away from us. I think it's a very strange, bizarre, in certain parts. There's a cat that narrates the whole movie, there's a talking moon, but for me, it's one that I absolutely love. I think Miranda July is brilliant. I think, you know, Me, You, and Everyone We Know, an amazing film. The Future, also amazing. Number 4 is Alexander Payne's The Descendants. I think Alexander Payne is one of the most brilliant filmmakers at capturing American life, about Schmidt, Sideways, Election, all fantastic. But here, I think this is his most mature and possibly his best film, about a husband who's struggling with his wife that is now in the hospital after a terrible water sports accident. And he has to get together his family, and there's all these other little subplots sprinkled in, as only Alexander Payne can do, and I won't spoil them, but they all add to the depth of this character and the depth of this family and what they have to go through. I think in somebody else's hands it could have easily just been a film about a husband dealing with his wife dying and bringing together the family, but with all these other elements, these Alexander Payne-ish elements that are sprinkled in, it really makes it memorable and makes it feel so realistic. The final moments of this film, of George Clooney and his daughters sitting on the couch watching March of the Penguins, is so simple and so subtle and so absolutely perfect. The Tree of Life is my 3rd favorite film of the year. However, I think it's a movie that, as years and years go on, I think this will be in a much higher regard than my number 2 and my number 1, possibly even a much higher regard for me in the future as well, because I think it is going to be a classic and looked back on as, oh my god, what the hell have they achieved with this movie. It is a very divisive movie. It's 2.5 hours. There are a lot of scenes that don't make a lot of sense. There's a 15-minute sequence on the Earth being created that a lot of people find quite boring. I did not find any of it boring. I was enthralled and captivated with every single moment of Terrence Malick's beautiful film. I think Brad Pitt gives an Oscar-worthy performance as this father in the 1950s. It gave me the chills by the final shot of the film with these birds swooping down by the bridge. Don't know why, it just did. I think The Tree of Life is absolutely beautiful and brilliant. I'm not entirely sure what it all means, but I'm okay with that, and I think it's just an amazing, amazing film. Number 2 is Drive. Drive, Drive. Holy shit, were the words that I thought the second this movie ended. Drive is a movie that in another director's hands could have easily been just the most common run-of-the-mill thriller about this getaway driver who has to extract revenge on some bad guys. But in the hands of Nicholas Winding Refn, it is artistic, thought-provoking, unbelievably well shot, and just totally awesome. Ryan Gosling is perfect in this role as this really quiet driver who barely says any words at all, but you know he's always on the verge of being a complete and utter psychopath. I love the bursts of strong, hardcore violence in this film. I love the way it's shot. I love the fact that there are scenes where people don't say very much to each other. I love the ending and the use of silence. I think it is all so good, and Drive is probably the one movie on my list that I can see myself watching over and over again because it is so entertaining and so well done. Number 1, Shame. Shame is a movie that is probably the least enjoyable on my list to watch, but I think it is possibly the most superb of all the films on my list. I feel like Steve McQueen's depiction of sex addiction is so brilliantly well done, so heartbreaking, so difficult to watch at times, and that's why it's absolutely astonishing. It's probably the most assured film I have seen in I don't know how many years. Every shot, every moment, every acting nuance of Michael Fassbender's character in this film, every single second of it is so fully realized. And there are scenes where you might think, hey, that went on for a little too long, or there's a 2-minute sequence of him jogging, why is that in the movie? I feel like every single moment in Shame adds up to something big and brilliant, and by the end, my heart was racing, and I felt like I was this character, that I went through everything that this character went through. I think it's so brilliantly told. Shame is my favorite film of the year because of how just utterly amazing everything about it is. So there you have it, guys, my top 10 of 2011. Let me know what your top 10 was in the comments below, and I hope to see you guys sometime in the near future. Take care.